everybody, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Heather. We're a fun, fabulous sewing channel where we do everything from full sewing tutorials to coming up with new ideas, patterns, to just, we're out there. We do all the things. If this is your first time here, definitely stick around and see what we're up to. Today we are doing one of my favorite things that we do here on the channel. We're doing a designer dupe. Okay, so I had Dakota go through some of her bags this morning, and she brought me this one. And I'm not going to let you guys know, if you don't know, if you're new, I love mini bags. Mini bags are my thing. This is one of Dakota's, and it's adorable, right? Small, it's cute, you can bring it anywhere, great for date night. And so I'm like, well, I can dupe this bag. So I grabbed the Sally Tomato Jessica pattern, and that will be linked in the description box below. And I drafted the pattern at 80%. So not 100% because it's a larger bag. I made it at 80%, and so 80% printed out the pattern piece that it comes with, and then I did the measurements for the 80% also, and I explain that when we're over at the machine and when we get going. But let me show you. Let's just appreciate it for a hot second because I'm obsessed with it. So we've got our designer and we've got our dupe. I left off the piping. I didn't have any pre-made piping, and I'm not a big make your own piping kind of gal. But we pretty much did everything else pretty similarly. And the Jessica at 80% is almost exactly the same size as this cute little Coach bag. Almost. It's like pretty spot on. I think 80% was perfect. And I would say we successfully duped for sure. So we used the same strategy for the strap, where one side has that swivel so that you can use it as a carry bag, but you can also use it as a wristlet. You can put it on your elbow. You can hold it with your hand. Kind of all the things. Did I do that? Yeah, right? So elbow carry, hand carry, it's perfect. We did not do an interior pocket. So it's just one big interior in here, and I am totally fine with that. I actually don't like too many pockets on a small bag because it's a small bag, right? It's one that you're going to be using when you go out, and I love when something works out. You never really know, right? And so we winged it a little bit. We made a few changes. We did not top stitch all the way around the bag, for example, because we had some bulky bits. And so we talk about that. And yeah, we just we winged it. We worked on it. I love it. It came out so good. Let's head on over to the sewing machine. We'll talk about some of our measurements and how we made it, how we made everything that we needed at that 80% mark and what we had stay the same. And yeah, we'll get to sewing. All right, you guys, we're at the machine, which as always is a Juki TL 2010Q. We have Tex 35 weight polyester blend thread in the top and in the bobbin. And we are going to use color Gingerbread from Waywack today. It's that like brown color that I have used before. We have a Microtex 9014 needle in, and we are using our tank foot for high shank machines, which is basically like a walking foot without the bulk on this machine. This machine. The numbers on the side of this are KT141 in case you're looking for one of these feet for yourself. All right, so quickly, our pieces. We've got our zip tape, and our zip tape is cut at 80%. So anything that you needed to cut that didn't have a pattern, we just multiply that by 80. So you take the original length that the pattern gives you, for your zipper and multiply it by 0.8. Then you're going to get the new length that you need. So that's what this is. We've got our pull. We'll set those up to the side for now. We are using our 1/2 inch wide faux leather. So they come like this, and anything that I can link, I will have linked in the description box below, as always, so make sure you open that up and click. So we're going to use this to make our straps and D-ring connectors. Super simple. So I've already sort of just put those on. You don't need to do anything because it's already done, and this is what we'll use for our small strap. Now I'm going to use 2 swivels for our strap so that we can make this bag move from one side to the other. Actually, I might use 1 swivel. No, we're going to use 2. We'll use 2. Right? Right? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. We'll see when we get there. We might use 2. We might use 1. We're going to see. We're going to see. So I'm going to set those to the side for now too, but we have them if we need them. And then we have our exterior, and this is from Your Vinyl Source. And the interior is a waterproof canvas, also from Your Vinyl Source, in this gray color. I liked the combo. And then our exterior gusset is actually this faux croc from Endo Love Creation. And then our interior is that same waterproof canvas. So you do have to figure out your gusset measurements the same way. So you take the length and you multiply that by 0.8, because we made this at 80%. And then you take the width and multiply that by 0.8, and then you figure out that's your new size of your gusset. And I did still follow the same instructions for tapering that in. So this is something that you have to cut. And you basically just so if you were making this at 75%, you would multiply by 0.75 and so on and so forth. So that's how you make a bag smaller, larger, etc. So because we made this smaller, we're not doing an interior pocket. We're just doing the bag sort of as is. So we can go ahead and find our centers. Oh, you know what? We need a bag tag, you guys. What am I thinking? I'm still going to find our centers on everything, and including our gusset pieces. I'm just going to clip them. Small triangles. Okay, that's my favorite. If you have a different way of doing it, go for it. I'm going to do that on all of our pieces, interior, exterior, and I'm going to grab a bag tag while I'm at it because I can't believe I forgot that. And then we're actually just going to start to put our bag together. So this should be a pretty quick sew for us. Removing that interior pocket makes it super simple. All right, centers are marked. We've added our bag tag by just stitching around all 4 sides, and this is from ArtiFoxStudios on Etsy. So we're just going to take our gusset, we're going to put it right side down. And we're just going to match up these center markings here. We're going to go ahead and clip. And then I'm going to just come up here and match up the top. And same thing on this side. All right, and you can see here on our corners, we need a little bit of give. And so just on our gusset piece itself, we're just going to come in here and just do a few small snips that will be within our seam allowance. And that will just help our material to spread out around this curve nicely. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing on the other curve so that everything fits in the way that we want it to. We're feeling good about it. And it's just a few. Just helps that material spread out. All right, we're going to go ahead and stitch around our gusset, and we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And we'll backstitch at the beginning and the end. Something sounds a little funky. Looks like our bobbin got caught in a way that we didn't want. I think this happened last time I was using this color thread too. So we're gonna hop just above where we finished, and we'll just go over those stitches. This corner is not, it's not too bad, so you shouldn't have any issues stitching around it. Just take your time, make sure that you are stitching sort of outside of those clips that you made in your material, and that everything is just flat where you're stitching. Doesn't matter if it's not flat anywhere else, just where you're stitching. Okay, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we'll turn it back. Super cute, right? Super cute. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add the back side exactly the same way. So we'll put it so that it's right sides together, match up our center, clip the tops, and then clip into the gusset if we need to. So I'm going to go ahead and sew that on exactly how I sewed on this first one, and then we will move on to the lining. All right, so once you have both sides on, you're going to turn it so that your exterior is right side out. And then you're going to set this part to the side for now. And we're going to stitch, because we're not doing an interior pocket, we're going to do the interior exactly the same way for the first go around. And on the second side, we're going to leave the bottom here, the bottom probably 4.5 inches open. And that's going to be where we're going to turn our bag through. So we're going to stitch this together exactly the same way, except we're going to leave an opening on one of our lining sides on the bottom, this sort of flat part here, just to make sure that we can reach through and turn our bag. We're not using interfacing or anything like that, so it won't be too difficult, but this is exactly the same construction. So I will put our first side on, and then we'll do our second side where we are leaving the whole opening together. All right, so we've got one side fully attached. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our second side while leaving our turn hole. And we're stitching this together, the interior, at the same seam allowance. When you drop in a bag, you just need to make sure that the top is the same size as on the interior as is on the exterior, so that everything sort of matches up appropriately. And I've been doing a lot of sewing, so I'm gonna make sure we leave a pretty decent sized turn hole, because I don't want to hurt my hands. I don't want to be mad at myself later for leaving too small of a hole and then having to really pull it through. So I'm just making sure that we're leaving a really decent size there. And you just start again on the opposite side of however large you want to leave your hole. There we go. We've got a turn hole here, which is actually not as big as I thought it was, but we'll hope for the best. We might have to unpick a bit. We'll see. We'll see. We're going to leave it as is for now. And then I am just going to trim down our seam allowance. Not right here at the top, but just underneath it. Trim it back a bit. It'll help our lining really fit in to our bag nicely, getting rid of some of that excess, especially since we're using waterproof canvas. It's pretty thick. All right, so now we can start to do our tabs for our gusset and put together our zipper. So we're just going to baste our tabs first. And I did cut center markings on the top of our gusset, so you'll want to make sure that you do that as well. I cut my tabs at 2.5 inches long, and I'm overhanging by about 1/2 inch here. Just kind of aligning that right with the center. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch that down. And we're just basting it for the time being. Okay, like so. I'm going to do the same exact thing on the other side, and that will give us a nice little length. We'll make sure that everything matches up exactly the same and stitch this one on. All right, so both of our tabs are on, and you can see the D-rings are facing down right now, and that will mean when our bag is complete, they'll be facing up. So just make sure that you have them going in the right direction. We have a scrap piece of our faux croc. This is what we're going to use for our zip tab. So before we go ahead and do our tab, we're just going to do a 90-degree angle on one side. There are a bunch of ways to do this, so if you don't like the idea of burning the ends together to hold them, like, you don't have to do that. It's just easiest for me. When you melt the zip tape, it kind of melds together. Holds it in place for long enough for us to just put a little baste stitch in here and hold our angle. Like so. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. Just match up your angle there. Like I said, if you don't like the idea of burning it so close to your fingers, there are a lot of other tips and tricks for 90-degree angles that you can kind of look up. And you'll find one that works for you. Okay. We'll thread, we've got fur. We're just going to thread our zipper pull on here. And then I cut this, so like I said, it's just a scrap, so the edges, they don't match right now, but I did cut it at 1 inch wide. And because we sort of have those finished edges on here and it matches everything else that we have going on, I'm just going to fold it right in half. It's final. We're going to just hit the end of our zip tape with some fire to get rid of that fraying. And then we're just going to pop it in here because we're going to trim our excess after. And we'll just throw a top stitch in 1/8 of an inch away from this raw edge here on this side closest to the zipper. These are not metal teeth, so our needle won't break, but I do still take my time when we're going over the teeth. Just, you know, make sure we don't accidentally have an oopsie moment. And it looks like we actually skipped a stitch here. And that's an easy fix. We're just going to come in from this side and we'll pop our needle into the one of the stitch holes that's fine in there. Okay, and I'm just trimming threads here, and then it's like it never even happened. We'll cut down our material. We're going to hit our threads with some fire as well. That will help them just kind of close up on themselves. Backstitched everywhere, but it just helps. All right, that's our zipper. And now we can start to put our bag together. I have made markings just on the inside of my material here because we're going to baste our zipper on. And we're going to fumble with it a whole bunch. I think that it has to go like this. Okay. Nope, that's not right. There we go. So we want our zip teeth down. And we want the not zipper teeth edge here at the top. And we're going to find that mark that we made. And we're just going to match up our zipper with that mark. And we're going to clip it on. I'll bring it a little bit closer for you here in 1 second. And we're going to clip until that other mark that we made. Okay. So that's what it looks like. So our zip teeth are down and the top of our zipper is against the top of our bag. And we're just going to go ahead and baste this in at this point. Make sure everything else is out of the way. Actually, we'll probably baste from this side because of our machine. And this is just a baste, so we're going to start at that mark that we made. And just move all the way across until we get to that other mark. All right, so that's what we're working with here for our zipper baste. And now, oh, you know what, you guys? That's not it. That's not it. All right, I'm going to unpick this. I should have paid more attention because we don't have our other side appropriately on the other side. So I'm going to unpick and we'll do this again. All right, so what I ended up doing was taking off our zip tab actually, because I couldn't figure it out, and I just placed our zippers as they're supposed to be. I'm going to baste them on like that, and we'll do the end of the zipper at the very end, and I feel totally fine about that. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I just did by basting the zipper on. Yeah, I don't know, I can't figure that out. So I just removed the tab and placed the zippers, zip teeth down, making sure that our 90-degree angles are on the same side. Okay, so there's our baste. I'm going to do the same thing over here. All right, zips are basted on. Now we're going to take our exterior and place it inside our interior. And we're just going to have to pay close attention. We're going to go ahead and match up those center markings. And so we have the right sides together here. So the right side of our interior is facing the right side of our bag, our exterior. And we're just going to match up, like I said, center markings. And then we're going to come over here and match up our side seams. making sure our zip tape is down where we want it. Okay, and we're going to do that all the way around. All right, clipped all the way. It's going to be a pretty tight fit. I'm going to move the camera here in a second, but let me just explain quickly what we're doing. Well, we're going to fix our thread for sure. We're just going to stitch our interior and exterior together. And we'll do it from in here, okay? And we're just going to be really mindful of all those like extra bits and make sure that our metal is out of the way and all of that. I like to start on one of these sides that's just straight. And we're stitching at about a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. And you just want to move your bag as you go. We're going to take our time here at these bulkier seams on the side. Where our connectors are. Looks like perhaps we skipped a stitch, so I'm just going to go back over that now to make sure. Okay, we're back on one of the straight sides. Okay, same thing. It looked like we skipped. And you can kind of tell on this machine because the thread, it loops a little extra bit. Just making sure. The last thing that you want is to turn your bag inside out and realize it's not all stitched together. All right, and then we're just going to go right back to where we started. I'm going to just check all of our stitching, make sure we're good to go, and then I'm going to go ahead. Okay, you guys back up there, and then we'll pull our bag through our turn hole here. All right, so cute, you guys, so cute. Now I'm gonna leave the turn hole open for now. I did end up making it a little bit bigger because it was like difficult. It was difficult to get through. We're gonna do a top stitch first, and this bag is small. I feel like we kind of need the top stitch. We're not going to top stitch the bulky bits here. So we're just going to start like here, and we're going to top stitch all the way around. And we have to top stitch from the inside, which always makes me a little nervous, because you risk not catching your exterior. But so we'll do one side and then we'll do the other side. And like I said, we're not going to top stitch the sides here, and I'm not worried about that at all. This is a small bag, so it's not like it's going to affect the usage at all. So we'll top stitch probably a little, instead of 1/8 of an inch, we'll go more towards like that 1/4 inch, just to make sure that we're getting our bag basically on the outside, our exterior material. I'm nervous. Maybe nervous. Okay, we're gonna go for it. See what happens. Okay, and we're getting to that point where we're gonna be stopping here. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, we got it. Yes, you guys, we did it. All right. I'm gonna top stitch exactly the same way on this back side, and then we'll come back together and close up our lining, finish our zipper installation, and really quickly make a decision about how we're going to do our strap here. All right, so to close up our turn hole now, we just need to pull out our interior, and you can see where I unpicked some of those pieces. And we're just going to turn this in on itself. You won't have these little extra bits of brown unless you also have to unpick. And this is waterproof canvas, so it is gonna like just crease in on itself pretty nicely. I'm gonna put some clips to hold it where we'd like it to be. Once again, you won't have so many issues with this extra brown if you don't have to unpick. Okay, you could switch your thread out here to something that matches, and I think we might actually do that. Do not want this brown to be sort of highlighted on the bottom, so I'm going to switch out the thread and then we'll just stitch here. All right, so I just put a silver thread to match the gray interior. And we're just stitching about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge here to close up that hole. So make sure there's no gaps. And then we can go ahead and just get all the air out. Sort of work our corners a little bit. Oh yeah, so cute. All right, let's put our zip pull back on. Gonna sort of cut off. We had previously burnt it, so some of those coils had gotten a little funky. Oh yeah, look at that, you guys. Now we're gonna I grabbed these zip ends, or not zip ends, but yeah, those won't work. Strap ends, but those won't work. So I guess I don't think I'm over here looking through all my things. No. Okay. So we're just going to re-sew a tab on here. I'm actually going to cut this down a little bit. Get rid of that unevenness. We'll re-sew our tab on just like we did before, but this time it'll be final. All right, our new zip tab is on, and we've gone ahead and just pushed it into the bag there. I like the way that that looks better. Now, here's what we have to decide. On the original bag, the handle is like on one side, and then it's got a swivel hook on this side so that you can carry it like a wristlet, or you can carry it with your hand or your arm or whichever, right? So, do we want to do it like that? I guess there is enough space to attach it over here if we wanted to. Yeah, okay, we'll do it. Well, so we're gonna just have one side as is, and we're gonna use a rivet to close this. And then our other side will have a swivel. That looks silver to me. That's not what we're looking for. Is it? Did I grab the silver box, you guys? Let's see. Okay. Right? Oh, I did. I grabbed the silver box. So this one's gunmetal, and we'll just all right. So off camera, I'm just going to go ahead and rivet right here and right here, and then we'll be able to take a look at our final bag. All right, you guys, that's it. We riveted our strap, and this is just, it's easy with these. Again, we just poked a hole and put our rivets in. So we riveted our strap, which was our last step, and we're complete, you guys. And it's beautiful, and I'm obsessed with it. And I was making this like, all right, this will be included in our holiday launch that's coming out on Black Friday. And now I'm like, do I want to get rid of it? I'm going to have to talk myself into not keeping this bag because honestly, it's so cute. Perfect night out, day out. I mean, it's just like a great little accessory. It's perfect for any outfit. I'm not talking myself out of keeping it at all, but okay. So I am such a huge fan. This bag was not complicated. I would say any level sewist who has experienced bag making in any capacity, if they work through this slowly, can definitely make this bag as well. I love it at this 80% size. You guys know, mini bag girl all the way. I'm not big on big bags typically. So the fact that we could make this at 80% and have it look exactly, basically like this designer bag, here for it, right? 80% is perfect. This is my jam for this pattern. I would say if you haven't made it yet, try it at 80%. I think you're really, really going to like it. And this faux leather just makes for really easy straps. Also, again, you know, here for it. I hope that you enjoyed it today. I hope that you will attempt this bag or another bag and change the size of it yourself. It's fun to sort of do the math out. I never thought I would be saying that about math, but here I am. Love it. I love changing the dimensions of things to sort of make them your own. This is a fabulous, fabulous, quick pattern that doesn't look quick. And we all need one of these in our sewing arsenal. I hope you have a great rest of your day today, and I will see you soon.